The pitch to the sideline, the calls that shape the game. Welcome to Excellence in Action, the referee show here on Islandstats.com, where we dabble in the world of officiating, dissect the decisions, and celebrate the men and women in the middle. Join us each week as we chat with top officials, analyze controversial moments, and explore the challenges and triumphs of being a referee. Get inside perspective on the rules, the pressure, and the split-second judgments that can make or break a match. It's more than just whistles and flags, it's excellence in action. Now let's get to the show. Well, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Excellence in Action right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me are three officials from Canada. First of all, gentlemen, welcome to Bermuda and thank you very much for coming to ensure that our league continues while you're in the snowy season in Canada. I guess this weather here is something that's putting a smile on your faces. Brad and Renzo, and is it Twain?
Yeah, Twain.
Okay, all right. Okay, so gentlemen, let me just ask you, what got you started in officiating? I'll start with you, Brad. Why did you get started in officiating?
So for me, I was already at the soccer fields a lot. I had a brother who played soccer, and just a passion of mine. Had a lot of practices, played on a lot of teams. So I was at the fields anyways and decided if I'm going to stay and watch games or stay and watch my brother's game, I may as well try to make some money while doing it. And then once I got started in it, I kind of wanted to see more and more competitive games, and that kind of kept me going and going through the ranks as we go on through the years.
Yeah. So you never played yourself?
I did play, yes, until I was about 18.
Oh, okay. What about you, Renzo?
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to Brad. I mean, I grew up playing football, watching football. My whole family plays football. I come from Peru, so it's a very football is culture there. So yes. I kind of grew up with football, and then I started refereeing to make a little bit of pocket money when I was 14 years old. And I loved it. Fell in love with this side of the sport, and I keep refereeing because I like it so much. And yeah, keep going until now. It's my 14th year refereeing.
Oh, 14! Wow. Okay, when you started when you was 4? Twin, what about you? What got you into officiating?
Likewise, the story might sound a bit of the same. I played soccer until the end of high school. And while I was on my rep or competitive soccer team, I would use it as a gateway to make side pocket change on weekends or whatever the case was. After our practice, there were little ones who would go out and I'd referee those. And then it became a summer job of mine. And there was no better job than refereeing because it was flexible hours and you were making cash and it was great. And then, of course, it became more competitive for me as a referee and getting me more experiences within the game once I stopped playing. So continued, refereeing university and college and, our men's leagues and now, of course, professional football. So this is kind of a pathway that's kind of brought us to where we are today.
Yeah. What Renzo, what fascinated you enough to want to take up officiating?
So when I started, like I said, it was to make a little bit of money when I was a young kid. But then what I liked about refereeing is I could see the other side of the sport, learning the rules, applying them, making decisions under pressure, and knowing that whatever decision you make, some people won't be happy, some people will be, and some people will not. But then you have to take the right decision that is good for the game. So I think that aspect for me was like the most fascinating, making decisions under pressure, knowing that whatever decision you make, some people may not be happy, but you have to make the decision still. So for me, that was the part that I loved, and the discipline of what it brought to me. Refereeing was really important and what kept me going.
Sure. Brad, when you started out, obviously understanding all the rules to apply them, you're probably well equipped now. But what were some of the things that you struggled with when you would have first started?
It's probably those weird and wonderful things that you don't see in your average soccer game that happen one every out of 1,000 games. Or, everyone around the field can feel that something's wrong, something needs to be called. Okay, you call it. And then is it a direct free kick? Is it an indirect free kick? Is it a drop ball? And those type of interesting situations. A dog comes on the field and drops the ball. What's the restart? Things like that. As a player, I think we had a lot of experience and understanding of the game, what offside actually is, and then you kind of fine tune the finer details, and same with handball and things like that. But those nuanced rules that you never really see until all of a sudden it shows up in your game, and then it's like, oh God, what do I do?
Yeah, and Twain, what would you say is something that happened in the game that you will never ever forget, and hope that if it happens again, you handle it differently?
As a youth official,
as an official, okay.
Yeah, as a youth official, I think the weirdest thing is another like little kid coming onto the field and kicking the ball while I was officiating, and I was like, oh, okay, this is an interesting situation. He doesn't belong to team A, he doesn't belong to team B. What do we do, right? So that's probably one of the weirdest ones at the youth level, for sure. That has happened to me.
Yeah, and Brad, I'll come back to you. Did you see yourself making somewhat of a career out of officiating, or when did you think or realize you can make a career out of it?
So I was really fortunate at a young age. I don't remember exactly, but I'll say in my teenage years, someone from my hometown. I'm from a small town of Aurelia with about 30 to 40,000 people population, and
a small town like Bermuda, you mean? Small town like Bermuda?
I was hoping you'd say that. And there's a FIFA referee who lived in town, and I guess saw me referee and kind of reached out and said, if you need anything, let me know. And at that point, it was like, oh my God, FIFA referee, like never going to happen type of thing. And he kind of showed that it was possible. And so that kind of gave me a little bit of hope. And then from there, it's really just one step at a time type of thing. Like you're never where you want to be all the way. So it's just do the best you can with where you're at, and then things will take care of themselves from there.
Yeah. And Renzo, for you, obviously coming from somewhere else and getting into Canada, what was that challenge like, or was there a challenge when you would have started officiating in Canada?
Coming from Peru, I mean, we moved with my family from Peru when I was 7 years old, so there was not really a challenge when I started refereeing. But yeah, I mean, it's when I started refereeing, I was 14. So I think the biggest challenge is you're young and you start doing youth games, but then after 2 or 3 years, you start getting pretty good. You're like 16 years old and you start refereeing more senior games, which that can be difficult depending on whether older people than me, when I'm like kind of the referee and I'm the boss on the field, if they want to listen to me or not. So that was a challenge, of course, when I was young, but it builds character. That's what it's the most important, I would say.
Yeah. Twain, do you remember your first senior league game?
Definitely remember my first in the middle and on the line. And like Renzo was saying, it's a bit of a heart pressure for you going into the middle, because you're thinking, okay, these guys are all like 27, 28 plus. I'm like 17. Are they going to listen to me? But you got to go out there. You got to be confident, and you got to be showing the signs that you can handle it. And thankfully, I had like a senior referee on my line to kind of help me and guide me through. At halftime, he gave me a couple of feedback, and we kind of moved the ball from there. But it went pretty well. I think being on the line was pretty early, because that's how you learn. You go out there with a more senior official. and you kind of get feedback from him or her, and you get more experience that way.
Yeah. Brad, what with the rules changing day in and day out, every season there's new rules, and man for man, women, man, women, you interpret rules differently because you see them in one way and the other. How difficult is it at times to apply every rule that is out there right now?
It's a good question. So I would say with the laws of the game, there's a lot of black and white in it. And I don't know what percentage, but I'm going to go with a high percentage is pretty black and white. And then there's things kind of like handball or when does interference of an offside actually occur that are a little more subjective. And for the most part, that's just kind of each referee and their interpretation of it. So that's why when we have opportunities for education sessions, the more people that are able to attend them, the more consistency we can have as referees. And also the more we can watch the high level soccer and the top 1% of the referees and how they manage situations, and then apply it to the levels that we're officiating as well.
Yeah. Twin, are you a talker as a referee, or are you just one that lets the whistle do the job?
Well, I'm formerly a referee, now an assistant referee. But when I was a referee, I would say a bit more of a talker. I think it depends on the match, but the more they hear your voice, the more they know that you're connected to the game. You may be able to get some respect from players by doing that. Some players may not want to hear you, so you have to gauge who you're working with. But now as an assistant referee, I let referees like Renzo do the job. So a bit more quiet on the line for sure. But when you need to have some proximity, you got to let the wingers and fullbacks know that you're there for sure.
Yeah. Renzo, what game did you do yesterday?
Yesterday we refereed Youngsmen Social Club.
At Boulevard? Oh, the 9 girls?
Oh, that was a crazy game. Yeah, classic. That we call them back home, but no, it was a really interesting game. What we feel like is a theme here is the players really have a lot of heart. They really go in, like we've done 3 games now, and every game the players go in really with a lot of heart. They really take this seriously, which is really amazing to see for what I would call a small island. The football is really, really impressive here. The level, the seriousness, the organization. There's so many fields here. I would say even in Montreal, where I'm from, there's a lot of fields, but I think there's more here in Bermuda than in my town, in my city, in Montreal. So it's great to see. It's really nice.
And Brad, are you a talker, or are you a blow the whistle? Hear me blow this whistle type of guy?
I would say I'm a bit in the middle. I'm on the line now, like Twain, and for assistant referees, I think as he kind of mentioned, it's really important to own your area. So it's one less thing that the referee needs to worry about, because when they hear you and they feel you, it's often that you can be preventative and not have to call the foul, because if you kind of tell them, hey, I see your hands, like that's enough, or play the ball, simple stuff like that, right, you can prevent yourself from being the center of attention, which no referee I think wants to be.
Yeah. Now I'm going to take you guys back, because each of you said you had played. And I'm going to start with you, Renzo. What was your worst interaction with a referee when you were a player? Because it's always one. It's always one.
When I played, I used to be forward, striker when I played. So I don't remember a lot of interactions I had with referee, because I started very young when refereeing. So I was kind of conscious that the refereeing was a tough job, and I didn't scream much to the referees, but sometimes you see some referees that don't take it so seriously, and they miss a couple of fouls again. I think I might have yelled at a couple of referees, but I was conscious that it was not an easy job, so I was more lenient on them.
I know Twain's got one, because he's been sitting next to you laughing, because he knows he's got one that he remembers like it was yesterday.
I don't know if I have a direct story, but being a fullback, you're definitely an earful with the linesman or the assistant referee. So I remember I was a pain in the ass when it came to offside decisions. I would definitely be screaming at the AR. And now that it's funny because I am the AR now. And I was a little guy back in, previous to high school. So, trying to get any little call I could, I was screaming for any mercy. But I definitely let my center backs deal with a lot more of the yelling at the main referee, but I had it out for any assistant.
and Brad's having a good chuckle too, so I know he's got one as well.
I do have a pretty funny one for you, Earl. Once again, teenage years, still playing, but I was also refereeing at that time. So once again, small town, you kind of know everyone. So the referee obviously knew me, and I happened to switch into goal into the second half of the match, and no one informed the referee. So back then, the rule was if you had informed the referee of this change,
yes,
you receive a yellow card the first time you touch the ball. And the referee came running out of the center circle with a big smile on his face to award me this yellow card. And I still definitely remember it very clearly to this day. I didn't get a lot of cards. I was a little bit of a pain, but I think that I always encourage players to be referees or to know the laws of the game, because I think it makes you a better player. And as a referee, it can be hard when you see a referee not doing what the laws of the game clearly state.
Right.
And controlling yourself in those situations can be challenging at times, for sure.
So now that you guys have a lot of experience in officiating, what advice do you have for young people that like you all started? You said, it was pocket change. That was one thing that lured you to it, but the love of the game. So what advice would you have for some young people that may be looking for, i.e. pocket change, or just something to do extra in the game? And I'll start with you, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think my one advice would be experience. I think more reps are important. I think a lot of referees will be attested to this. I mean, similar to Brad's situations, the 1 in 100 games, there is going to be a weird situation. It's never going to come if you weren't at the field refereeing. So I would say, making sure that you're trying to get as many high-level games as possible, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. So maybe this is a game you don't think you can handle, but asking your assigner, like, hey, can I get a crack at this? And kind of making sure that your portfolio grows in that sense. And of course, education. I think that's going to be important as well. So if you guys are running sessions with your football association, making sure that you're there and attending to make sure you can get the best of the technical side, but also the practical side on the field as well. So those are key. And then the last thing I'll leave us with, maybe I'm taking away from Brad and Renzo here, but fitness is important. I mean, keeping fit, whether that's going for your runs, strength training, just to make sure that you're able to do the job once you do show up to the field. So definitely experience, education, and fitness.
Sure. What about you, Renzo? What advice would you have for young people?
I would say be passionate. I think if you talk to any top referee today, they will all tell you that for them it started as a passion and it's still a passion. So be passionate, be open-minded, seek help, be open-minded for advice, for critics, ask help from your association if you need to be assessed. Like I said, be open-minded, and that's how we learn.
And you, Brad?
I think for me, it's you can learn something from every referee you work with, good or bad. Every time I was working with someone coming up, whether they're more experienced, less experienced, I tried to take one thing, good or bad, that I either wanted to incorporate or never incorporate into how I refereed. And then you just kind of build your toolkit that way with, I really liked how they handled that situation. I want to try to do that the same way. Or, that did not work, saying that thing to maybe escalate a situation, thinking that you're going to come out big and on top, but it actually puts you underneath with the players, like things like that.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you three for coming to Bermuda and again assisting us in ensuring that our league season can be completed. You don't realize what little you think you've done is a huge thing to help us make sure that these matches get played. So again, thank you very much. And hopefully we see you again in the very near future. I know you guys are probably the envy of a lot of other officials back in Canada. The fact that you guys are here in Bermuda and you can call them and tell them I'm in Bermuda kind of thing, and they're snowed in. But we want to see you guys come back and help us to complete this season. But again, from me and the rest of the island, we want to thank you very much for what you've been able to do thus far for us for football here in Bermuda. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your time here in Bermuda. Have a good night.
Pleasure was ours. Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.